You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Belynda Beautiful fans, I've got your weekly prediction edition. Ridge is going to be stunned by even more traitors joining the coup cause, but in other predictions, Carter's coup is doomed from the start. It's Belynda from Soap Dirt, and we've got predictions for Justin, for Ivy, Electra, and Carter, for Sheila and Remy, for Carter and Hope, and also for all the Forresters, all of them, not just the few we've been seeing lately. Hey, if you're not following us, please reach down, click subscribe, and now let's get started with our very first prediction. Justin Barber has dirty hands in the Forrester Creations takeover, maybe. So Ridge called in Justin Barber to consult on this whole LLC thing. And don't forget, he's a very shady dude who did his own attempted coup, trying to take over for Bill Spencer at Spencer Publications. That was back when Liam had run over drug dealing Vinny, that ex-friend of Thomas's, and he and Bill left the scene and they were actually in jail, and it was just a whole thing. And Justin's not an ethical guy. And, you know, Ridge had not agreed to not press criminal charges back when Justin kidnapped Thomas to try and keep him quiet so that he could do his own coup. And he owed Ridge a big favor, and Ridge called it in. But was that favor paid back in lies and deceits? So next week's spoilers from the promo have Justin sticking around while Carter bickers with the Forresters. And Justin already told Ridge, Eric, and Steffi there is no hope to defeat Carter. That was on Friday's episode, and he may reiterate it next week. And I just wonder if Justin is conspiring with Carter and fibbing to the Forresters about them having lost control with no recourse. Since Carter filed the papers after he was fired, it stinks of fraud because he had no authority to file anything on behalf of the company once he was fired. And so that's why it just smells funny. And even if he can take control, they still have the recourse of going to court to sue to get control back, which Justin didn't bring up. So this all smells off to me, and maybe Ridge will realize he needs to seek a second legal opinion. Remember, Justin hates the Forresters because of his niece Emma's death, which Thomas was involved in, and Thomas also ruined his takeover try at Spencer, and that is Ridge's son. So yeah. All right, our second prediction, Ivy and Electra stick with the Coup crew instead of the other Forresters. So next week, despite the Carter takeover in the CEO office, we've got Electra and Ivy doing their photo shoot for the jewelry line. You know, maybe they don't know about the coup, but I think they do. And if they do, it definitely looks like they're sticking with Forrester Creations no matter who is running it. Wednesday and Thursday spoilers have Electra at work getting ready for the photo shoot when creepy Remy shows up. And then Thursday has Remy making a game-changing decision about Electra. So Ivy doesn't like Steffi, and Steffi said no to the jewelry line. It was only Eric and Ridge's intervention that they got to bring it on board. And remember, Carter is the one who brought them to Forrester Creations. So I'm guessing Ivy is going to show her loyalty, and she and Electra are going to stick around. Plus, Electra likes Will, and he is, of course, Team Logan. Our third prediction, Sheila spots Remy's perv wall in his apartment. Remy already has Will on high alert because he's just giving off creep factors in waves, and that's before he's really starting up. And when Will and Electra were at Il Giardino, Remy was lurking and just being weird. So I just wonder if Sheila soon notices how creepy her and Deacon's new employee is. Spoilers for Wednesday the 11th say Remy keeps his plans from Will and Deacon is forced to defend himself. So Remy's getting creepy about Electra at the jewelry photo shoot. He kind of freaks her out. He's in an Il Giardino shirt, so maybe he's making a delivery to Forrester Creations for Deacon. And Electra tells Remy, we're friends, and he gets this angry, just crazy look and says, we're more than friends. So So I wonder if Will is going to grill Deacon about his new employee, Remy, and maybe that's why Deacon has to defend himself. And we know Remy had a creepy perv wall at the place he lived before because we saw it with all the photos of Electra. And now he's living in another little apartment next to Sheila and Deacon. So I just wonder if Sheila or Deacon, one of them, comes in and sees a wall of Electra pics and realizes, wow, this kid's nuts. Our fourth prediction is that Carter's regime is fated to fall with Hope at his side. Last week, Carter filed the papers to take over Forrester Creations. As I mentioned before, he did it even though he'd been fired, so I don't believe he had the authority to file anything. And Justin and Carter shared a look when they were both in the room, kind of like a head nod thing, and I feel like there's more there. But Friday, we saw Ridge and Eric raging at Carter about the coup, and that continues next week with Hope in the mix when she shows up during the whole takeover thing. Spoilers for Monday the 9th, there's a scene from the promo, and she tells her mom Steffi and Ridge no longer run Forrester Creations. And then Ridge goes off on Hope, who enters Forrester Creations triumphant as the coup takes hold, and Steffi can't keep that ban against her in place. Ridge lashes out while Carter and Brooke defend Hope, and Ridge accuses Carter of stealing the company for her. Friday the 13th spoilers say Carter cements his new control at Forrester Creations, and Hope is at his side. And it sounds like when Carter presumably takes over as CEO, maybe he names Hope as his co-CEO, his COO, but either way, that seems like a prescription for failure. She could not salvage Hope for the future once Thomas left. She's never had a significant leadership role at Forrester Creations, so this seems doomed. Not that she's not smart or anything like that, but she's just never run a company like that and kind of ran her own line into the ground. As for Carter, he is smart, but with estranging the company's designers, it just seems like it's not going to work out. Our fifth and final prediction, Forresters take sides and Ridge is surprised. So who stays when Carter takes over? Ridge is the lead designer at Forrester Creations, and he's the reason Couture is making so much money. He also designs for the highly profitable Brooks bedroom line. Carter and Hope are taking over, but they are not designers. They want to keep the Logans around, which means Brooke and Katie will be safe, but neither of them are designers. RJ Forrester is MIA, and I'm cool if he stays that way. So who does that leave? Spoilers for Monday the 9th say Zende is shocked and heartbroken by this takeover. He feels quite betrayed and he walks away from Forrester. And Friday the 13th is when Carter formally takes over with Hope at his side. I mentioned in the prediction above that Ivy and Electra will stay, I believe, because Carter's the one who brought them in and Steffi wanted to reject them. Eric's not really designing anymore. He did his last hurrah and Ridge is ticked. I don't know why he would, do anything for Carter. Zende quits. So are they going to have any designers left? Carter's big idea for the luxury brand hinges on the reputation of the Forrester design. So, who's left? Thomas isn't going to come back and work for him. And, back to why I think this is going to fail anyway. But I do think Ridge will be surprised when Ivy and Electra are Team Carter.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.